Wanted to give you a real estate update as it relates to the Sarasota market. It's been quite a while since I have had an update video, but a lot has happened over the last few months, ever since the summer weather and the hurricanes, tropical storm Debbie. It's really shaken things up for the real estate market, and so we're going to look at data, but first off I'm going to give you my own impression. I will say that a lot of the homes, first floor condos on the Keys, are going through remediation. Some of them are being sold just for land value. That's where owners are basically saying, I'll take the homeowner's insurance, flood insurance on this home if they even had it, and I will sell the home for the land value. So we're seeing a lot of these types of homes actually pop up on Zillow. And so my estimation for the next year, so I'm trying to give you my boots on the ground type of perspective. For now on the Keys, we can see prices come down mainly because a lot of the damaged stock is being sold off. With that being said, investors are going to come in, and because of the 50-50 rule, meaning that if a home is going to cost more than 50% in renovations based on the fair value of the house prior to the storm hitting, the home has to be brought up to the latest code, and that's going to cost money, right? So investors are going to grab these very affordable homes, maybe for land value only, and it is expected that these homes are going to be, many of them are going to be fixed up to code because of the 50-50 rule. And once these homes in the years to come are getting resold on the Keys, it'll be for much more money. What I'm trying to say is that in the short term, prices are going to come down on the Keys. In the long term, prices are going to be way up, partially because the homes are going to be built way better and stronger. Now, with a lot of stock being damaged on the Keys, a lot of these folks who maybe live on the Keys full time are possibly not moving out of Sarasota. I mean, Sarasota is beautiful. There are safer areas to live in, further away from the coast, in an X zone, maybe a higher elevation. And so I believe that there's going to be more pressure being put onto single family homes, especially further away from the coast. So areas such as Palmer Ranch, Lakewood Ranch, east of Highway 75, those areas are probably going to be doing pretty well. Now, there was a slowdown absolutely in Q3, Q4, partially because of the bad weather we've had. A lot of people have to absorb what happened, right? And also we've had the election. Now that the election is past us and we know who's coming into office, I do sense that a lot of potential buyers are now planning on coming back off the fence and possibly purchasing starting beginning of next year. Certainly we're going to have to wait and see what the new administration is going to do in terms of the housing market. Some of the plans that were discussed during the campaigning would have either increase prices or lower prices. So what the net effect is going to be, I think it's very hard to predict because we don't have full exposure yet what these tactics are going to look like. And here I'm really talking about deportation, tariffs, DOGE, which is the plan of cutting government bureaucracy. I'm talking about mortgage interest rates. I mean, there's just a lot that will affect the housing market, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. But because the administration is very business friendly focused, I do believe that when it comes to the stock market, for example, the S&P 500 is more likely than not going to do just fine. And if that's the case, then especially luxury buyers, which a lot of them do come into the Sarasota market, they're going to continue purchasing in the Sarasota market. I think right now people are just done with 2024. So let's look at the latest data when it comes to Sarasota. I think a lot of you probably think that the market is crashing, right? Because that's a lot of what we're hearing right now in the news. Homeowners insurance prices just gone through the roof. And of course the condo market, we'll have to talk about the condo market as well, which is really hurting due to the Surfside bill and the mandate it's posing on those homes or condos that are 3 stories and higher, reaching the age of 30 years old. They have to go through a mandatory milestone inspection, and they have to make sure that the reserves are in place to making adequate repair work to a condo building if that's necessary depending on the milestone inspection results. And so a lot of condos that in the past have been trying to keep assessments lower and condo fees lower have not really stocked up on the reserve, and so they're going to have to make up. And that's when you're seeing these news headlines where condo owners are now being hit with $50,000, $100,000 of assessments, and a lot of them are. What does that do to condo demand? Actually, overall, not just 3 stories and higher, because there's kind of a halo effect, it's pushing down the prices. And so let's do this. We're going to look at data and actually see what's happening in the Sarasota market. And we're going to look at the Northport Sarasota Bradenton area. Median sales price here for all property types. It's now for October, $435,000. Again, this is for Northport Sarasota Bradenton, and it's down by minus 4.4%. But see, this is where it's really important to drill down on the data. If we look at, say, just single family homes, the median sales price is still down. It's down by minus 1.3%. But really what's happening here is that when we look at townhouses and condos, so really this is coming back to the Surfside bill, especially older condos, 3 stories and higher, they're dragging down the overall median sales price for all property types as of October 2024 versus same time last year. So we always want to compare it to the year prior, as well as understanding the trend leading up to the months that we are looking at. It's actually down by minus 10%. And I've said many months ago that we're going to see that number come down because for condos to sell, it's taken a while. It takes 70, 80, 90 days. And so in the beginning of the year, we were not seeing the decline, but that's because of the lag period. And now it's been caught up to us and we're seeing it in the data. Now, I'm going to make the next point, and that is always look at the information locally as well. You want to get a high level view of what's going on, not just within the U.S. housing market, but within a state, within, counties, maybe 3 major regions, look together, like in this case, Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton. But now if you're interested in purchasing in Sarasota, what's happening in Sarasota? And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Market Quest. I have single family homes picked out right now. The median price as of November of this year is $550,000. That's just on average what you can expect to pay if you're purchasing a single family home in Sarasota. Now that price is actually up about 4% from same time last year. So just looking at the trend line, this green line here, the prices haven't crashed, right? And if we look at the average price, it's actually up versus same time last year. I like to look at the median price when it comes to the real estate market, especially if we're looking at kind of an overall view. Once we get into communities, then you want to look at average prices. But overall for Sarasota, median is much better of an indicator of how the market is doing. So it's the price in the middle of the set. The average price can be heavily skewed by very expensive homes that were sold or very cheap homes, which are less likely these days. So it's more likely it's going to get skewed by luxury homes. That's why I think the median price is more telling. Now moving on to condominiums. Condominiums are now at $506,000 versus same time last year. It's actually down by minus 51%. Now this number is kind of odd. I'm not sure what happened back in November, December, but some crazy luxury homes must have been sold back in 2023 that skewed not just the average but also the median price. But the point being is that condo prices are going to trend down, mostly because of the Surfside bill, but also if we take into account homes that were heavily flooded near the coast, a lot of them were condos. Is it likely that prices could come down next year in the Sarasota market just for single family homes? Condos for sure, there's going to be some opportunities there. For single family homes, you're going to have more opportunities now because it certainly is tilting more towards a buyer's market. There's less demand. Homes are sitting on the market much longer, especially those that are not very well priced. A lot of you are worried about homeowners insurance. Absolutely, homeowners insurance prices have gone up quite a bit. If you want to mitigate the cost of what you will have to plan for when it comes to homeowners insurance costs, then go for a newer home. Also, move further away from the coast. So people are starting to look at the elevation, and I urge you to do the same. What you can do is go and utilize your phone. You'll have a Compass app there. In the Compass app, you have to be on location, but open the Compass app when you're at the home, and you'll see on the bottom, typically whether you're using an iPhone or an Android, it will show you the elevation. There's also certain apps you can use online to get that information, even remotely. Sarasota is still beautiful. The Keys are being rebuilt right now. We have some of the most beautiful, dreamy beaches in all of the US. The allure of living in Sarasota is not going to go away. I do think that buyers are just getting really smart about where they're going to be purchasing, and they're going to be asking the right question, and you should. Is it an X zone? What elevation is it? So you're going to be your own judge in terms of how much risk you're going to be willing to take on. But certainly the allure of Sarasota, I just don't think that's going to go away. Where the market is headed in 2025, nobody knows, nobody has a crystal ball, but you've seen just based on the Sarasota data that when it comes to single family homes, prices are holding. When it comes to condo prices, yes, prices are absolutely coming down. What 2025 has to give us, a lot of it depends on the administration's tactics, and much more of that is going to become clear next year. Follow the data, connect with the real estate agent, ask the right questions, and I wish you all the best of luck with the real estate market here in Sarasota. If you have any questions, call me, email me. I love hearing from all of you. Thank you for tuning in. I always appreciate you, and I wish you a great day.